Before we begin, viewer discretion is strongly advised. The following is for educational and entertainment purposes only. What you are about to hear is the verbatim federal courtroom testimony from the Sean Diddy Combs trial. As reported by Inner City Press, nobody expected him to show up. The court had already heard from Cassie, Will Smith, Monique, and others. But when Ice Cube stepped through those courtroom doors, everything changed. A man who built his legacy on never backing down now stood face to face with the very system he once tried to walk around, and today he walked straight through it. Cube wasn't there for fame, he wasn't there for headlines, he was there to testify. And what he brought with him, documents, voice recordings, names, and connections, made the entire courtroom freeze. This wasn't just about Diddy anymore. This was about an industry, an underground system of control, manipulation, and exploitation backed by the very people we've been told to worship. The stories involving Jamie Foxx, Oprah Winfrey, Quincy Jones, and others now had a witness. And that witness was Ice Cube. It was supposed to be just another procedural day. The cameras outside the courthouse buzzed, reporters shuffled through paperwork, and Diddy's legal team adjusted their ties, pretending to stay calm while the walls quietly crumbled around them. But then, the doors opened and in walked Ice Cube. No entourage, no press statement, just Cube, holding a manila folder, eyes locked forward, walking through the courtroom like a man who had been waiting years for this moment. The whispers started immediately. Some of the jurors sat upright. Even the judge leaned back in his chair, unsure of what was about to unfold. Diddy didn't even look up at first, but when he finally did, the color drained from his face. "I wasn't called," Cube said. "I asked to speak." The judge nodded. There was something about Cube's voice. Steady, heavy. It didn't sound rehearsed. It sounded like testimony that had been simmering beneath the surface of hip-hop for 3 decades. And the first thing he said, "Some of y'all didn't realize I'm not part of the club, and that's what pissed them off." The courtroom fell into silence. Cube didn't speak as a rapper. He didn't speak as an actor. He spoke as a man who had survived the system, watched others fall into it, and finally decided to rip the cover off the entire thing. He began with the club, the one nobody names, but everybody knows. The insiders, the gatekeepers, the ones who smile on camera and control everything behind the curtain. They don't want you in because they like you. Cube said, they want you in so they can control you. And when you say no, that's when it starts. Suddenly, he was too difficult. Suddenly, his health became a question. Suddenly, he was missing from the headlines. But showing up in the gossip blogs, Cube said Jamie's 2023 medical emergency wasn't a coincidence. That was punishment. A warning shot dressed up as a complication. He revealed that Diddy's circle didn't just throw parties. They built archives, cameras, footage, moments you didn't even know were being recorded. And once they had it, they kept it, and they used it. Cube told the jury that Jamie had once called him after a Diddy event. He didn't go into detail. Cube continued, but he said Fox was shaken. He told me, "Cube, I can't talk about it, but I can't unsee it either." If the courtroom hadn't been stunned before, they were now, because the next name out of Cube's mouth was Oprah. It wasn't just Puff, he said. There's layers to this. He explained that during the height of Jamie's rise, right after Ray, right before the Oscar buzz, Jamie got a phone call. A quiet one. From Oprah herself, she told him, "You're blowing it?" Cube didn't flinch as he recounted it. Jamie thought she was calling to congratulate him. But she wasn't. She was calling to redirect him. She told him he needed to get it together. Then she said she was taking him to someone who could help, that someone was Quincy Jones. Cube told the courtroom he didn't have to explain who Quincy was. Everyone in Hollywood already knows. He said Quincy has long been a shadow figure celebrated on the surface, but feared behind the scenes. She brought Jamie to Quincy's house. Like it was an intervention, Cube said. But it wasn't healing, it was submission. He told the jury Jamie described it as the strangest. Cube continued, his voice unwavering. That night at Quincy's house, Jamie said it was the strangest night of his life. He felt like he was being prepped, not helped, trained. Cube said Jamie never fully explained what happened that night, but he didn't have to. The look in his eyes when he tried to, Cube paused. That was enough. He leaned in closer. Oprah called it responsibility. Quincy called it legacy. But what they were really giving him was a leash. Cube told the jury Jamie changed after that night. Not out of desire, but survival. He looked toward Diddy, who was now visibly shaken. That's when they start with the whispers, the canceled meetings, the bad press, the fake scandal, the calls you don't even hear them make. The courtroom hung on every word. Cube said he'd seen it happen over and over. Good people, real artists, brought in, offered a taste of the kingdom, and then told to kneel. Hey, want you to sign the paper. They want you to play the part. And if you don't, they make sure you don't work again. And then Cube made it clear, Diddy wasn't just in the club, he was running it. He paused. The judge asked if he needed a break. Ice Cube shook his head. He turned back to the jury. You want to know why I'm here? He said. Because they tried to break a man I respect, Jamie Foxx. You could hear the reporter's pen stop. Every eye in the courtroom shifted toward him. Cube said it started the way it always does, with the illusion of friendship, the open invitations, the parties, the phone calls from people you never thought would have your number. Jamie was a rising talent, undeniable energy, unmatched charisma. And that's when they circled first. It's flattery, Cube said. Then it's favors. Then it's control. He told the jury that Jamie Foxx had confided in him more than once, quietly, carefully, fearfully. They bring you in like family. And if you play along, Cube continued, they call you brilliant. But if you don't, he let the silence finish the sentence for him. Cube then testified about the infamous basketball parties, the no phones policy, the black SUVs, the strange guests. It wasn't just basketball, he said. It was a test. They wanted to see who you'd obey, who you'd question, and who you'd protect. He said Jamie played it cool, laughed it off, stayed polite, but he never fully gave in. And that's when the rumors started. He told me, Cube, the only way to stay alive in this game is to pretend. And I watched that man pretend for years. He paused again, but now Cube said, nobody's pretending anymore. And then he said the name again, this time slower, more deliberate, Quincy Jones. He ain't just a producer in this town, he's a godfather. The courtroom didn't move. You could hear the absence of breath. Eyes wide, pens still, phones forgotten. Cube looked toward the judge, nodding respectfully. This ain't gossip, he said. It's truth, and it needs to be on record. Cube continued, his voice growing more serious with every word. He told the jury that for decades, Quincy's name had been whispered behind closed doors, revered publicly, feared privately. And what he did to earn that fear, Cube said, well, that's the part people only hint at, in songs, in coded interviews, in the silences between the lines. Then Cube leaned forward again, locking eyes with the jury. You don't get as powerful as Quincy without making deals. And I'm not talking business deals, he said. I'm talking soul trades. The kind of arrangements that don't come with contracts, just control. He said the meeting between Jamie Foxx and Quincy wasn't chance, and it sure wasn't some well-meaning gesture from Oprah. That meeting was a handoff. Cube said plainly, Jamie was being passed from one handler to another. They put us here to entertain, to dance, to smile, to sell their stories, but the minute you stop playing along, they come for you. Quietly, strategically. A breath. I'm here because Jamie Foxx is more than talent. He's a man, and they tried to break him. He turned slowly, scanning the courtroom, and if they can do it to him, to me, to countless others, they can do it to anyone.